2005 T1N 2500 Sprinter, formerly a freightliner. I converted the grill to what it should be, a Mercedes Benz. It's all made in Germany, 100%. We got, for wheels, we have 245 75 16s. These are the biggest tires you can put on a Sprinter without modifying the suspension. I really like having all terrains. Regular road wheels will get stuck on wet grass, on gravel. These make a huge difference. These are Dextero. It's actually a Chinese brand, very economical, $100 on walmart.com. Recommended it to a few other T1N owners and they've liked them a lot. I painted the van myself using a product called T-Rex liner, which I like a lot better than Raptor liner because it has a little bit of a sheen compared to Raptor liner, which is very flat. Painted it 3 years ago and it's held on amazingly well, and a lot of that has to do with the prep, but I do think this is a better product than Raptor liner. As we come in, it's very important on the T1Ns, you remove the stepping plate and add additional drains. This is going to help you not get rusted. We have the Galley here. But first, let's start off with the cab. Replace the radio with a 7-inch Boss radio. It also has inputs for 2 cameras, and I added a camera on my side mirror and a camera in the rear. And my awesome hula girl here keeps me company on all my trips. Replace the armrests. You can get these from Amazon. It's not gonna come with the arm is not gonna fit here, but you can replace just the top and it looks really nice and clean. Painted the headliner with spray paint designed for fabric because it had the notorious coffee stains. Took care of sealing that. Added an overhead shelf, and above the shelf I have insulation for it. The insulation is half wool, half wool. I really liked the fact that it's not toxic. A little bit challenging to work with, but overall happy with it. Basically what I did is I added a bracket here, and then I added another bracket inside, and it holds on the shelf. I have a wraparound curtain. I love this. I think it's so much better than having window covers because it allows you to use the cab and it just gives you more space while you have your sleeping setup. The chair is on a swivel, so it'll turn this way, and with the curtain behind it, again, it just expands your van more while you're not on the road. Over here we have a little charging shelf. These are touch lights, so you just touch, turn on and on. USB plug, battery monitor, and also these little battery monitors also have, USB plugs also have a battery voltage reader, which is nice. USB and USB-C. The windows are your standard RV windows. I use a wooden frame to prop them up. This nice little fan helps you push air in when you have your Air Max fan pushing out. That way you get a nice flow. For the walls, I use Revolution plywood. I kept the same mounting points. I always noticed that people wouldn't use those and ended up drilling more. These are really good. These are stock from the van. So what I did is I kept all the siding, the original that plastic material siding, and then I used that as a template along with the 4x8 sheet of Revolution ply. I believe it took about 4 or 5 sheets of plywood. Yeah, I was very economical with it, so use the leftover strips to do that corner. Just have angle pieces of 2x2 in the back, kind of like framing, and then I just use lathe screws to bolt them in. Taking several trips, several thousand miles through gravel roads, and nothing has come loose, and everything has held up really well. Over here we have a full bench. The bench is the storage under. The lid comes up, and I have legs that are you can set up under. You bring this cushion over, and now you have an additional twin bed. Over here we have the galley. So we have a camshaft oven, so you can make your cookies and pizza nice and simple. And I have a 3-pound propane bottle, and it has a vent to the outside. Over here we have an RV 12-volt propane and CO2 alarm. I think this is very important. It's making sure you also have it situated near the tank so that you're getting a good reading. Here's my galley. Nice faucet. I have an attachment for it where I can run a hose to the outside to wash up. And then over here I have my pump and my filter. I have an Aquava or Aquava filter. This is a UV and particulate charcoal filter. My setup is simple. I didn't want a big tank. I heard they get stinky and they're difficult to clean and they can freeze. I do travel and live in a freezing area, not full time, so also the thought of leaving the tank there with water when it is not being used didn't appeal to me. Here I just use these BPA free Reliance tanks. I have a total of 3 of these. I believe these are 7 gallons, so I have a total of 21 gallons of water. And then here's the Aquava filter. This is a UV light in there. I have a pump with an accumulator. Water goes through the filter first, then goes through the UV to kill any kind of bacteria. I like having the switches so that you're not running the pump at all time, only when you need it. And over here we have the bed in a nice scene, but more on that later. I didn't want to add overhead cabinets. I felt like they took a lot of space, and people always talk about banging their head against the cabinets, and they are difficult to mount and easy to damage just because everything is up top, up high. Instead, what I wanted to do is I built a closet. In this closet, I can hang a lot of stuff. I was just at a wedding, so I came with a suit, shoes, and then over here I have a Trillino compostable toilet that I only use in emergencies. Over here on the side I have 2 shelves. This one is missing a shelf, the other one has it. And then these are open shelf. This one is pretty deep, and then these kind of overlap, so anything you put in there is not going to fly out. Same charging shelf that I showed you earlier. I have it here in the back, and this is a longer window. For lights, I have 4-inch or 3.5 puck lights. I wanted to use these bigger ones instead of having to do more little ones, and these provide just the perfect amount of lighting. Even just the little reading lamps on the side at the same time gives it nice lighting. It is on a dimmer, so I can control that on a dimmer. I wanted to build the van very light. I use 2x2s. I don't think it's necessary to build with 4x4s. It makes it heavy. It takes a lot of space. Also, I use 1/2 inch. It's called sandy plywood, which is a quality plywood. Yeah, it's not very expensive. And I liked it a lot. It's held up really well. Again, I've traveled through a lot of different gravel, bumpy roads, and it's held up really well. Oh yeah, this nice, call it charcuterie board, sits right in there, covers the sink. And then over here I have all my food and storage. I can store more food down there as well. And then this is the cover for the kitchen, which can be used as a table. I'm going to set up the table here as an extension to the counter. I just need to add basically a piece of wood on the bottom so that it holds on both sides. Just a project that I have pending. Here it's passed through. I don't have anything there. Have the Set Power fridge, really good on power. It really saves power. It's dual zone, so I have a freezer. It's nice to have ice, and I have a refrigerator. Let's come back to the back. I'm in Montana right now at Highlight Reservoir, enjoying. Over here I have 300 amp hour battery. This is my system with a 12 volt fuse box, bus bars. I have a DC to DC and solar converter. This lead time, it can take up to 600 watts in 600 watt solar panels, and it can do 40 amps from your alternator. So I have a cable running to the alternator, and so it charges while running the vehicle. This is also an additional form of charging. This little charger, it's great. It's $30. It'll do up to 20 amps charging, and basically you just clip it on and you hook it up to a power supply. So great for those of you who stay at RV parks or stay at places where you can hook up, or just to maintain your battery once in a while. I do have solar panels that I haven't mounted that are going to be running through the lead time DC to DC and solar power controller. I have Y-bore here, so I can use that as a dry erase board. And I also have one up front behind the door, which I forgot to mention. Really important. Have one fire extinguisher there, another one back there. I also have a fire blanket. Let's show you the dry erase. So this is a dry erase board to take your notes. Again, I use the same mounting points from the previous trim. I think that's just a smart way to Make sure you can take stuff. I mean, these are pre-machined screws, so you're not just using self-tapping screws. It's very easy for me to take any board out, access anything, wires, leak, you never know, you can access it all. So the theme of my build was really to make what I call a value, an economical, nice spinner. Obviously, you've seen a lot of amazing builds, and not to take anything away from that, but the main thing is just I didn't want to spend a ton of money. I used a lot of recycled materials while still making it nice. For example, this cushion, these cushions came from a family member that had a boat, and they no longer needed the cushions. The cushions were in excellent shape, and under it is vinyl. I just reupholster it with different fabric. This is a patio furniture fabric, so which is really nice. Over here, this is a kitchen cart, and instead of bolting it on, I use the cargo tie downs. I ran a strap through it, and it holds it. I mean, just think about it. Those are meant to hold cargo, even pallets, and this is super light. There's nothing heavy on there. The one thing I did bolt on was the stovetop. You can see here, you can see the strap, how it goes through down to the cargo holder. The floor is called luxury vinyl. Now, one thing that is very important about luxury vinyl that a lot of people don't realize is that when you see installations for homes, they always show putting straight planks and then cutting pieces. And I think that's the reason why so many people have problems with this in vans. You're not installing this in a big area, right? So when you're calculating your how many boxes, instead of using the standard calculation, just go ahead and get an extra box or two. And what I did was I made it a systematic puzzle. So I cut half a plank. So you see half a plank with a full plank, half a plank with a full plank. This is going to give you better stability. Here we go. Half a plank, full plank, full plank. This is going to give you better stability than any other or than using short pieces, which is the reason why a lot of people have trouble with this luxury vinyl. As you can see, my floor is not gapped. I've had it in 0 degrees in Tulsa up to 105 degrees, so I haven't had any issues. Another thing that I think it's really helpful as well is using gym flooring. This is 1/4 inch gym flooring. This is going to help stuff from not slide as well. It's also going to help with sound deadening. And I think it's just a great material for the cargo area. Another thing I did as well is I removed this flooring, and under it, let's see if I can pull a corner. Under it, that's not a good corner. I attached cork, sound deadening cork. This is a great way to, again, reduce, sorry, I can't show you, but this is a good way to reduce the sound, to give it a little more insulation, and to make the van overall more comfortable. Also, adding the bookshelf is excellent. Sorry, not the overhead shelf is excellent for insulation and for sound insulation as well. T1Ns don't have the best air conditioning, so by adding the bookshelf, you're reducing heat and you're also reducing the volume that it needs. So it cools down really, really well. But that's it for the build. Hope you enjoy my little walkthrough, and I leave you with a nice view.